They should be here. The guidance should be from the speaker. If it's I wish that we should become general. That lady. Exactly. I don't know what my senior says. I don't get it. You know, you saw me. You saw me. Wow. So I pace around. I go to my office. I talk to some of people, especially women. Even me, I don't know. Okay. I think we are in challenge. What's this here? Oh, but one I get surprised last thing. Yeah, quietly. Quietly. But Somebody say.
They went to plead. You think you can go and plead? Are you sure? Even you in America.
Honorable members, Mr. Speaker. Prayers, Almighty God, who in His and prudential goodness have appointed us as leaders and parliaments for the lesser certain just government of humanity. We beseech you to look upon with the abundant favor these your servants, whom we've been pleased call the performance of such important trust in this land. Let your blessings send upon the assembled and granted the may as in your presence. Treat and consider all matters that shall come under the deliberation. Be so just and following manners promote honor and glory, and to advance the good of those whose interests you have committed their charge.
Item number 2 on the order paper, communication from the chair.
Honorable colleagues, I welcome you to the first sitting of 2023. We want to thank the Lord who has blessed us to be here. Not everyone could be here. So we really want to appreciate the Lord as a country whose motto is very clear that it is for God and my country. It's been a difficult beginning of the year with the sad news we've been getting, to begin with the passing on of His Holiness Pope Benedict, where I saw many of you colleagues really joining in mourning with the Holy See and the Christian and Catholic community in the country and over the world. We continue to extend our condolences to the Holy See and His Holiness Pope Francis, but we also lost very many people, including in the stampede that happened at Freedom City when we were celebrating New Year's Eve. I have a strong belief that the authorities are doing everything possible to understand the cause and ensure that it shouldn't happen again, especially with such a young children who are allowed in such a places around midnight. And it was very, very unfortunate what happened. And I have seen in several media outlets that government and even the president has instituted an investigation on this matter. I hope they will come to the real conclusion of what happened. I've seen also some people being charged in court already. So we shall offer any support on our side in terms of assessment and in terms of oversight at the institution of parliament. We also lost very many people in accidents. Before Christmas, I lost my very own in an accident. I know what it feels being with someone and then in around 5 minutes, receive sad news that they are dead in a car accident. Very many people died. Specifically, I want to send condolences to the family of Justice Mugamba, who lost 3 children in one accident. The sight of the family placing coffins in front of, mourners, it was unbearable. But we believe in the Lord. We are a believing Christian country. We are a believing religious country, not only Christians, but Muslims and other religions. So we keep them in prayer. But road carnage has continued to claim people. I think today morning at Kamdini, 15 people have died. Preliminary investigation is showing that the bus rammed into a trailer which was parked by the roadside without any warning sign, So it's very, very painful. We lost one of the priests, also in an accident. So colleagues, we've lost very many people. I believe it would be prudent for us to first stand up and observe a minute of silence.
May the souls of the deceased rest in eternal peace.
That includes the soul of the departed international football king, the legend Perry. Once we resume sessions, the Minister of Transport will be required to come here and give us a statement, which we will subject to a thorough debate. And we also have a forum. I don't know, Alex, is it Honorable Alex Ruhuna? Or Honorable? Yes. We have a forum on road safety. We shall need a comprehensive statement showing measures being put in place by government. Because like yesterday on Twitter, I saw on the Twitter page of one of the former members of parliament, the Honorable Pereza, a driver of a bus with over 50 people eating karo and boiled chicken when he's driving the bus at a high speed. So the video could show, he could remove all the hands and concentrate, on another important duty on his side, which he considered more important than taking people safely. So you ask yourself, and also, like someone told me, he said, Uganda is very interesting. It's the only country where you first get a driving permit, then you go to the driving school. Yeah? So you go, you get a driving permit, after you go to learn how to drive, and then you're on the road. So this is very, very, we have to look into this deeply, because it is going to fall on all of us if we don't give it the attention that is necessary. It's going to fall on all of us. So, Minister for Works, we need to come here and make a statement. And because we are in the budgeting process, So if there are measures that they have a financial implication, this would be the best time to look at them and see how best we can fund the ministry to curb these fatal accidents. Still on roads, also, I have observed on social media a lot to do with the Kampala City Authority, the potholes everywhere. Colleagues, our member in the 10th Parliament, we passed here a loan of over $200 million by African Development Bank that was supposed to work on around 27 roads within Kampala. Most of these roads, and we handled it expeditiously, I remember, because we were being told we want to make Kampala look beautiful, and we did our part as a parliament in the 10th Parliament. Now it's over 2 years since we passed that loan, but more potholes are coming. And the solution I'm seeing is patching. But the loan we passed wasn't for patching. It was for reconstructing the road. So we need the Minister for Kampala City Authority also to come here and update this house on the implementation of that loan, but also the committee, sectoral committees. When you see these issues, be proactive, take on the matters. We don't need to wait for plenary. You have your powers as sectoral committees. So the leadership of sectoral committees, please be proactive when you see these matters. Take them on, call the ministers responsible, and engage so that we can be able to work on solutions together as a country. So the minister will also be required to come back and report to this house. Yes, colleagues, if you remember very well, on the 23rd of December, we came here and the Honorable Amos Okot presented a motion for censure of the Honorable Percy Namuganza as per Rule 109 of our Rules of Procedure and Article 118 of the Constitution. We received the motion as it had garnered the required signatures that are provided for under our Rules of Procedure. And on that same day, I transmitted that same motion to the president because the rules under Rule 109, Sub-Rule 8 required me to transmit the motion to the president within 72 hours. And you could see the working days. So Saturday was going to be, we are entering Christmas. Sunday you're in Christmas. Monday you're still in Christmas. So that's why when we finished the session, I immediately transmitted the same to the president, whereby the rules require that the president would ensure that it reaches the Honorable Percy Namuganza. So on our side, we did our part as per the rules. And in this process where we've reached, we are being commanded by the law. It's not being commanded by someone talking to me, by someone whispering. It's implementing the law the way it is. Okay? And I will follow the law the way it is. I'll follow the rules the way they are, because under Rule 109, Sub-Rule 9, it's very clear that within 14 days, after 14 days of transmitting it to the president, I must cause Parliament to sit and appoint a select committee that will investigate the minister with the aim of establishing a prima facie case. The prima facie case is a case on the surface, evidently visible. Okay, that will be the role of the committee. So I'm commanded by Rule 109 of our Rules of Procedure to appoint, to cause the House to appoint that committee, and that committee is supposed to be processing the motion within 15 days as provided for under Rule 109 sub-rule 10 of our Rules of Procedure. And that committee, in the process, under the same rule, it allows, number one, that it can co-opt any member to support it in its duty. Number two, it allows the honorable who is accused, any member accused, to appear before the committee, either directly or through the representative, and defend themselves. So it would ensure that indeed rules of natural justice are followed. I have proposed the names clearly, and I have avoided names of people who already debated this matter on the floor. I want people who have not debated this matter. Okay? I want people like Macho. Honorable Macho. Yeah, because you see, we have to protect the integrity of this house. And we don't want anyone to claim that I'm being victimized. No, the moment something is done, we want to give you a fair chance of defending yourself. We want you to appear before people who are fair, who have not yet pronounced themselves, and the process has to be thoroughly done. We don't want anyone to claim I'm being victimized because of A, B, C, D, so and so. No, no, no. This is within the rules. Whatever is being done because the rules and the law provides for that. I therefore propose the following members. Number one, Honorable Mwinempaka Ramirama, Mbara City South, as chairperson of the committee. Honorable Nwagaba Wilfred Ndogwa East, one of the senior legislators and the custodians of the rules, ensure that the rules are well followed. Honorable Mpindi Bumari, people with disabilities. Honorable Bakaburindi Charles, for workers. Honorable Nancy Achora, woman MP Lamo District. Honorable Narui Mabeti Esther, woman MP Wakiso District. And the Honorable Geoffrey Ekanya, Tororo North. Members, I now want to put a question that the committee be approved. Those in favor say aye, and to the contrary, nay. The ayes have it. The committee is hereby approved, and all documents relating to the motion are hereby referred to the committee. You have to report back to the House within not more than 15 days so that we can be able to process the motion and complete it the way it is provided for. Yes, honorable colleagues, now this is the matter which, as per Article 118 of the Constitution, we cannot debate at all because it gives us 30 days from the date of transmitting the motion to the president. Now, the 30 days include 14 days for which we've waited, meaning, and someone was saying, has the president written back? The law does not require the president to write back. The law is very clear. The moment we transmit it to the president, we have served the minister. The president has no role, is not required to be writing back. That's what the law says. So we did our part. We hope the president has done his part, but also the committee is required to ensure that they invite the Honorable Pastor Namuganza to come and appear so that she can be listened to and she gives her side of the story. After this has been done, the committee will present the report on the floor, which we shall also be handling as per Rule 109, Sub-Rule 11 of our Rules of Procedure, and ensure that indeed we give it a fair debate and we vote on it. So, colleagues, tentatively, I can say on the 23rd of January, we shall be having a sitting whereby we shall receive the report of the committee and we vote on it, and that would be the final stage of processing this petition. Finally, colleagues, I received our Muslim colleagues who were not happy with the timing of the session. I want to extend our apologies as a leadership. This was a very clear oversight on our side. It is a day for Juma prayers, which we shall be having at 1 p.m. So because of that and the request I got from the Muslims, we shall straight away, after receiving only one matter, we shall straight away go to receiving the report from the chairperson, local governments committee, and the response from the minister, and then the debate will be deferred to another day so that our Muslim brothers and sisters can go for Juma prayer. So I now invite Honorable Remricha. This is also part of my communication. So Honorable Remricha, raise your issue, but I want us to use our time seriously so that by around 12:50, we allow our Muslim brothers.
Thank you so much, the Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. I'd also want to congratulate you and honorable members for having finished the old year and beginning this new year 2013, and I wish you all the best. 2023, and I wish you all the best. The Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, you know what happened in Toroko. And many of our residents of Weramule and the Kibuk Town Council fled their areas for safety, and others were critically injured. First, the Right Honorable Speaker, I would want to thank our mighty force, UPDF, for the job well done. I think in Toroko now is safe, and people are beginning to return to their homes. I want in particular to thank our division commander, General Dick, and our CEO of the 9th Battalion Commander, Colonel Saulo, for the work well done with our Wananchi. The Right Honorable Speaker, I would also want to thank you and the Right Honorable Speaker, and together with the Prime Minister, for the efforts in getting food relief to our displaced people. My prayers, the Right Honorable Speaker, first, we urgently need food relief to the people who got displaced, because some of them are fearing to go back to their places. And two, the Right Honorable Speaker, we need medical support to the citizens, 2 of them who were critically injured, and some of them are here in Milago getting treatment, and their families are these peasants, and we really need support from government. I beg to submit, Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. This is the only matter of national importance I'm allowing today. Our government chief whip.
Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, permit me also to salute Parliament on behalf of the executive arm of government for the works executed in the year 2022 and for crossing over to the year 2023. And we wish all of us a prosperous new year 2023. On the subject matter raised by the honorable member from Toroko, I undertake to have a discussion with him to see how the team that he has talked about, who are currently receiving medical attention, can be helped. I beg to undertake.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Procedure position, Chief.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, this house works well because you are the custodian of the rules, and you also work under the customs, traditions, and the practices of the Commonwealth. But, Mr. Speaker, I've keenly observed as veering off at a tangent. If you get back to our rule 190. You have all the discretionary powers. Nobody can challenge you in constituting a select committee. But Mr. Speaker, it has become a practice that we ignore sub-rule 2, which requires, of course, that you do this in close consultation with the government chief whip and the chief opposition whip. Mr. Speaker, you have not done that, and it is not the first time, but I'm raising it so that it should be the last time, Mr. Speaker. So are we proceeding in total compliance to our rules, Mr. Speaker, sir?
Thank you. Thank you. You had raised a very good point. Take your seat. You had raised a good point, but the problem, you gave an ultimatum to the speaker, which is against the rules. So you are out of order. Honorable Seungu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'm responding to you from your communication. You've talked about Ministry of Works, but mine also deals with the accident that we had at Freedom City. Ministry of Internal Affairs, through your orders and the direction, Honorable Speaker, we have information that this will organize these functions, pay to police, for ambulance, for security, over 40 policemen, plus these vehicles that stop for the fireworks lorries. Now, but police has power to arrest and detain at will with no question to anybody. So we want to know whether, through you, Honorable Speaker, you can give guidance that also Ministry of Internal Affairs comes to this house to explain to us how this accident occurred and what was their role. Lastly, through you, Honorable Speaker, we saw what happened at Makerere University as well. I think we just forgot this one. And I know you have been one of those big leaders there who have been at the university. During the election for convocation, we saw military police. This one, Kavuma, the one member can attest to this. He knows where military police must work. But they go on young children, students with the police, beating them thoroughly. We need the Minister of Defense to come out and explain who gave powers and directed UPDF military police. I'm making emphasis on that, in a red cap, to go and beat students who are voting leadership. So all those should be explained to this house. But most especially, the issue of police eating money from people who organize these events, and later on they just arrest them. We don't see them mentioned anywhere. And the Minister of Internal Affairs has been saying it on radio. So, Honorable Speaker, we need very good information on that. Otherwise, how do you expect me, Seung, the organizer of the event? I'm collecting money. I'm called Abitex. I name. Then you think I would be on every door, yet I paid police to give security, they ate my money, but I'm under detention now with no question.
Thank you.
Speak.
So Minister of Internal Affairs, in 2 weeks' time, bring a statement. Final, Honorable Martin.
Mr. Speaker, and my colleagues, I want to wish the August House a happy new year. And I want to thank you for your communication today. Mr. Speaker, you spoke about potholes in Kampala. It is worse. And the cause is because the leaders of Kampala have stopped doing their work of oversight. They are now in bed with the ruling government. That's why you see the letters from Salim Saleh to Lukwago. And Mr. Speaker, it is a prayer today that the law.
Order.
The law.
Order, Honorable Basarirwa.
Right, Honorable Speaker.
Colleagues, let's listen to a colleague.
Is it in order for my neighbor from Busia, the Honorable Macho, a cross-border trader, otherwise known as smuggler, to insinuate that the leadership of Kampala, that is evidently in the hands of the opposition, is now in bed with the government, and yet the matter is referring to is already in court, is in order.
Thank you. Thank you. Please. Thank you. Now, you've made my life difficult in as far as ruling is concerned, because you've referred to Honorable Macho in 2 aspects. Cross-border trader, that's allowed. But a smuggler is in a legal and illegal. I think as neighbors, you need to go and sort those issues. Honorable Mapenduzi, please, next item. Next item, clerk.
Procedure.
Item number 3 on
Procedure,
the order
Honorable
paper.
Please, procedure as Mr. Mapenduzi is coming. Honorable Sechkubo.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, you gave a mouthful of communication arising out of which I wanted to make some small addition, Right Honorable Speaker, from this side to seek your guidance. When Honorable Sewungu raised the question of the red berets caning students at Makere, Right Honorable Speaker and members, you realize there has been a deteriorating conduct of the UPDF. Just in the papers today, you saw how the UPDF raided a police station and freed the armed robbers from police custody. And many other incidents of the UPDF raiding the police, taking it over themselves. And fortunately, Mr. Speaker, sir, the UPDF is fully represented in this house. And it should be the reason for them not to hide, put their heads under the sun. Right, Honorable Speaker, the continued deterioration of conduct of the UPDF cannot go unchallenged. And I would therefore pray, Right Honorable Speaker, that you cause the Minister of Defense issue a statement about what is happening in the country. People are being raided, arrested, people putting on civilian clothes, torn attires, who can be mistook to be rebels and toting guns and using these guns for Ugandans against Ugandans. And this is well below the expected conduct of the UPDF. Can therefore the UPDF and the Minister of Defense, for that matter, clarify to this country, first of all, the deteriorating conduct, which is even abetting insecurity in this country. Are they part of the problem that we need to clean them? They seem to be going out of hand, Right Honorable Speaker, and I seek your guidance on that matter.
Thank you, Honorable colleague. I have seen a statement this morning. Okay, Honorable Namuga.
Right, Honorable Speaker, we have a minister here who has put off shoes. He's barefooted. So I doubt whether the minister is in order to just sit the way he wants. So, Right, Honorable Speaker, he's spread apart, seated the way he wants, as if he's in I don't know, Right, Honorable Speaker, how to describe.
Thank you.
So,
thank you. Now, honorable colleagues, it seems this is the only place where ministers get comfort. So, but unfortunately, I have not seen him. I want to see. It's true. I'm seeing all ministers' shoes are on, so we don't have any issue. Yes. Honorable colleagues. Yes. Honorable colleagues, Honorable Sechkubo had raised a very, very important issue. And Honorable Sechkubo and colleagues, these are issues. Not every issue should be handled in the plenary. That's why we have sectoral committees working at any time and having powers to call anyone at any time. Today morning, I saw a statement from in the media from the military, from the UPDF, saying they have apprehended the officers who raided the police station and freed some of their colleagues, and they have promised that they will be arraigned before the court martial. They were even appreciating the vigilance of the people who raised the issue and the police officers who raised the issue. So on that one, I really want to appreciate. That was quick, and it was very important to inform the country on the state statement. But Honorable Sechkubo has raised many issues which require serious interrogation. And he's a member of the Committee on Defense. He's a member. So Honorable Sechkubo and is a permanent and pensionable member of the committee. Please, Chair of the committee, take up those issues seriously and ensure as you process the BFP, these are some of the issues. Colleagues, I have not come here to handle only such matters. We have serious business to handle, please. Honorable Mapendus on the floor.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. And thank you for allowing our committee to present its report. And with that, Right Honorable Speaker, permit me to lay on table first minutes of the committee meetings. I beg to lay. Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, permit me to lay on table the report of the committee. I beg to lay. Right Honorable Speaker, as you can see the size of this report, which is close to 800 pages, I'll request you to permit me to go through the executive summary for purposes of saving time. This report has been uploaded for over a month. I'm sure members have had time to read through. And also the executive summary has been online. Right Honorable Speaker, permit me to present this report, giving the executive summary of the report of the Committee on Public Accounts on audited reports on 49 district local governments, 6 cities, and 5 municipal council for the financial year 2020-2021. Right Honorable Speaker, in accordance with Article 163(5)(a) of the Constitution and Rule 182(5) of our Rules of Procedure, the Committee on Public Accounts Local Government considered the report of the Auditor General for the financial year 2020-2021 and wishes to report its findings to this House. The committee met and interacted with 137 districts and municipalities out of 139, as per the Auditor General's report, out of which 21 local governments were reported on in previous committee reports. This report, therefore, Right Honorable Speaker, covers the 49 district local governments, as I stated, 6 cities and 5 municipal councils. The report covers key issues, which is categorized into 2 sections, namely, 1, key issues under local governments with qualified opinion, and secondly, key issues on local government findings under general and cross-cutting queries in the different entities as reported. This report, Right Honorable Speaker, has been compiled based on the findings of the Auditor General and observations of the committee, mainly to show the current state of local governments and to aid policymakers in improving the performance of the local governments, as highlighted below. Permit me, Right Honorable Speaker, to start with key issues under qualified opinion. And under that, I'll start with the first one, Vote 607, which is Kole District Local Government, which has qualified opinion. And the basis for this qualified opinion are as follows. 1, Right Honorable Speaker, under unsupported adjustment. The audit report revealed that the entity had financial statement with a balance sheet adjustment of 192,477,798 shilling, an adjustment and cash equivalent of Uganda shilling 4,053,659 shilling that were not supported with approved journal vouchers. Audit considered the financial statement, and the committee has provided the following observation: that the accounting officer failed to compile and reconcile his books of accounts within the mandatory period as required by the Financial and Accounting Regulation 2007. And as a result, Right Honorable Speaker, the committee recommended that the accounting officer should institute disciplinary measures against the officers like CFO
and the finance team for failure to perform their duties as required by the regulation. 2, the accounting officer should reconcile and balance the books of account and or recover the monies in question from the CFO within 3 months from the time of adoption of this report. Number 2, Right Honorable Speaker, is unaccounted for funds totaling to 349,542,400 shilling. The audit report noted that a total of Uganda shilling 349 million in respect of staff advances and fuel deposit was not accounted for. Consequently, audit was unable to confirm that the funds were utilized for the intended purpose. Delayed submission of accountability, Right Honorable Speaker, may also lead to falsification of documents resulting into loss of funds, public funds. The committee observed that the entity had failed to submit supporting accountability documents amounting to the said amount in respect of the advances to the said officers. There is laxity on the side of the accounting officer in ensuring strict adherence to the provision of the Financial and Accounting Regulation 2007, hence causing financial loss to government. With that, Right Honorable Speaker, the committee recommends that the PSST should hold the accounting officer, CFO, and the respective heads of department who authorize these advances personally liable and reprimand them for contravening the provisions of the law. 2, full recovery be made from the officers who received the cash advances, or the accounting officer, CFO, and the respective heads department make good the losses within 3 months from the time of adoption of this report. Right Honorable Speaker, recommendation 3 is that the accounting officer must desist from the practices of giving advances to officers who fail to account for funds disbursed to them. Number 3, Right Honorable Speaker, is under misclassification of expenditure, amounting to Uganda shilling 639,863,720 shilling. The audit report noted that the said amount was charged on items which did not reflect the nature of the expenditure. Right Honorable Speaker, misclassification of expenditure impacts on the credibility of the financial statements, since the figures reported therein do not reflect the true amounts expended on the respective items. It is also impairs appropriateness of the future budget, since the reported actual figures are misstated. Right Honorable Speaker, to save time, I'll go straight to recommendations. The committee recommends that the PSST should hold the accounting officer personally liable for using wrong codes and contravening the local government financial and accounting regulations. 2, the accounting officer should always respect the budget allocations and selling under the respective account codes. 4 is wrong recognition of deposit received during the financial year amounting to Uganda shilling 269,970,000 shilling. I will take you straight to committee recommendations, Right Honorable Speaker. The committee recommends that the PSST should at all times notify accounting officers of any cash transfers or disbursement to enable them to update their respective financial statements. Right Honorable Speaker, I will take you to vote number 2, which is to local government, to the second local government, which had qualified opinion. That is vote 774, and it's Masindi District Local Government. Query number 1, Masindi Municipal Council. Query number 1, Right Honorable Speaker, is unsupported advances recovered during the financial year. The cash flow statement on page 13 reported that Uganda shilling 120,400,000 as advances recovered during the financial year relating to OWEP and YLP, which were not supported by detailed schedules and bank statement to confirm the authenticity of the figures reported in accounts. Right Honorable Speaker, just to save time, I'll take you straight to recommendations. We made observation there, members can read through. And the committee recommends that the accounting officer should ensure that reconciliation is carried out and up-to-date records of the schedules are made available to ease tracking of cash flows and recoveries. Right Honorable Speaker, allow me now to take you through very quickly to key findings in local governments, and that is under general and cross-cutting issues. That falls under number 3, and 3.1 is on budget performance for financial year 2020-2021. The committee has considered the audit reports for 60 local governments for financial year as mentioned. For these entities, Parliament appropriated a total of 2,096 billion, which is equivalent to about 50.5% of the total allocation of 4,148 billion 500 million of the total funds appropriated for the local government in that year. These local governments, Right Honorable Speaker, were released a total of 1,731 billion 743 million, representing 83% of the budget approved further. Further, the entities were able to expend a total of 1,502 billion 472 million, which is 87% of the funds that were released to them. In this regard, Right Honorable Speaker, 229 billion 271 million was returned to the consolidated fund. Right Honorable Speaker, number 2, under that Roman number 1, I'll look at local government absorption capacity. Based on the above, Right Honorable Speaker, local governments were denied or not released a total of 351 billion, and they failed to utilize a total of 228.9 billion, which was returned to the consolidated fund. The worst performing entities in this regard, in terms of absorption capacity, were Oima City at 30%, Kitgum Municipal Council at 36%, Gulu City at 36%, and Masaka City at 37%. While those that absorbed 100% of their releases were Arua City, Chitagwenda District Local Government, Terego District Local Government, and Madiokolo District Local Government. Roman number 2, Right Honorable Speaker, is on the cost of service in local government. The Auditor General report highlighted the amount of resources spent on non-core service delivery activities, such as employee cost and transfer to other units like sub-counties, schools, and health facilities. These amounted to 1,101 billion 750 million, also equivalent to 74% of the expenditure made by the entities. In other words, Right Honorable Speaker, on average, government spent 3 shillings on each shilling for outputs that directly affect service delivery. The entities with the highest cost of administration over 6 and above include Masaka at 8, Nakasongola at 7, Gulu City at 7, Bundibujo at 6, Mbale City at 6, Chiboga at 6, Mpiji at 6, and Arua City at 6. While the most efficient local government was Kalangala and Obongi District Local Government at 0.4 per shilling for output service delivery. Roman number 3, Right Honorable Speaker, is on local revenue performance for financial year 2020-2021. The audit report for the 60 entities reported on indicated that some local governments' local revenue was not reported on. Well aware that this is a core source of revenue for the functioning of the district council, this denied the council facilitation to supervise and monitor the works of local government, and these local governments include Mitoma District, Nakasongola District, Chankwanzi District, and Lamore District. Details of this are provided, Right Honorable Speaker, in Annex 1. And overall, the local government underperformed on local revenue, registering revenue underperformance of 30.4 billion of the target of 68.248 billion, translating into local revenue performance of only 56%. The local governments that performed decimally were Kole District, Soroti City, Zombo, Kitgum Municipal Council, and Moroto District Local Government. Right Honorable Speaker, I will take you through on the performance of salary, gratuity, and pension. The report of the Auditor General highlights the planned salaries, gratuity, and pension by the entities for the financial year. The reports overall indicated that Uganda shilling 632.75 billion was approved for salaries, gratuities, and pensions at the close of the financial year. And at the close of the financial year, 610.543 billion was availed to pay salaries, gratuities, and pension. However, only 571.3 billion was actually absorbed by the entities, causing a return of 38.6 billion to the Treasury, indicating underperformance of 6.3% in the budget item. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee made observations, and I'll request members to look through those observations, and I'll take you directly to recommendations. The committee recommends that the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development accounts for the under-release for funds to the local government. 2, accounting officers under whose supervisions local governments fail to utilize funds released to them be held personally liable. 3, entities whose cost of administration was above 6 times the cost of output service delivery be subjected to further investigation to ascertain the source of the abnormality in the operation cost of the local government. 4, on the local revenue performance, most district local government can hardly meet their target, thus misleading in the planning and budgeting for services to be provided to the population. Accordingly, accounting officers should ensure that local revenue enhancement committees are strengthened. Roman number 5, the local governments devise effective measures to address the leakages and all accountable revenue officers who abuse their powers. Roman number 6, the accounting officers should ensure that an up-to-date revenue register are in place to track and enhance the revenue performance of the respective entities. And finally, accounting officers should ensure that an effective revenue mobilization and tax education plan are in place to help local governments perform better. Right Honorable Speaker, I will take you through payroll management in local governments. And under that, Roman number 1 is management of payroll deductions. The audit report noted that accounting officers effected payroll deductions from employee salaries to be remitted to URA, UCLA, UBA, and other beneficiaries. It was done contrary to paragraph BA 17 of the Uganda Public Service Standing Orders 210, as there were vivid cases of over and under remittances and non-remittances in some cases. Overall, Right Honorable Speaker, as per the audit report, whereas 84 local governments deducted Uganda shilling 259.65 billion to be remitted to the different beneficiaries, there were over remittances of 2.16 billion and under remittances of 7.33 billion. Additionally, there were also delays in remitting funds for over 55 days, as reported in Obongi District Local Government. Right Honorable Speaker, for purposes of saving time, I will take you through the committee observation. The committee observed that accounting officers do not conduct verification of staff list to ascertain the right amounts of money to be deducted in favor of various beneficiaries. Also, the committee observed delayed and non-remittances of deduction to OCLA and UBA as a breach of paragraph 4.1.6 of the establishment notice number 2 of 2019. And observation number 3, local government staff risk being subjected to penalties associated with failure to settle or meet their contractual obligations to credit lending institutions. We have provided recommendations as indicated, and I will request members that for purposes of time, we also provided a report on unauthorized loan deductions, where the committee observed that actually the audit report noted that 48 local governments made unauthorized loan deductions totaling to 11.1 billion, and deductions were from 6,835 employees that lacked letters of consent or undertaking. You can look through, Right Honorable Speaker and members, and you will see the irregularities as indicated. And the committee made observations. For purposes of saving time, I will request you to look through the observations, and I will take you directly to recommendations. Recommendations: the accounting officers or entities should play a central role in the initiation, processing, and approval of all loan deductions, and all loan deductions should be backed by adequate documentation. Recommendation 2, the responsibility of loan recovery cases to be a duty of local governments, and that the Minister of Public Service should terminate the requirements for undertaking with lending institutions as a policy measure. And finally, government should institute more protective measures to cap multiple and over borrowing by employees. Right Honorable Speaker, we also detected delayed deletion of staff from payroll as reported by the Auditor General, and the audit revealed that on the account of delayed deletion of staff from payroll, some accounting officers authorized payment for salaries to staff who have either retired, transferred their services, absconded, or died. I'll give you the example of Gulu City, where there was a delayed deletion of 20 staff who had left services, leading to payment of 64,323,558 shilling. Right, Honorable Speaker, such anomalies lead to loss of funds, and we have provided recommendations to that effect. Right, Honorable Speaker, we would also like to report on non-deduction of pay from political leaders. We have indicated details of our finding as a committee, where political leaders were not subjected to deductions of pay, and we have also provided recommendations. And to be specific, the committee recommends that accounting officers recover all the monies that were not deducted from these political leaders, or the accounting officers will have to be held liable, and they will have to make good the losses. Right, Honorable Speaker, we also would like to report on payment of salaries, pension, and gratuity of IPPS. We noted, for example, in Bulambuli district, where 9 pensioners were paid a total of 170 million of IPPS. Right, Honorable Speaker, the committee observed that payment of salary, pension, and gratuity of IPPS contravened paragraph 4.5 of the establishment notice number 2 of 2019 and could lead to abuse and manipulation for private gains. And as a result, we recommend the following. 1, the accounting officers should ensure to reconcile their respective entity staff list together with the Minister of Public Service IPPS in order to avoid payment of salaries and pension and gratuity of IPPS. 2, the accounting officers should desist from the practice and can only take such actions with the approval of the line ministries. Right, Honorable Speaker, under 3.3, we have off-budget receipts. We have provided those details, and I request members to look through. The committee has also provided observations, and I'll take you straight to recommendations. And the recommendations are as follows. 1, the accounting officers should adhere to paragraph 29 of the budget execution circular for the said financial year. And 2, the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development should mainstream the disbursement of funds through the normal planning and budgeting, thank you very much, and budgeting cycles to avoid off-budget receipts. Right, Honorable Speaker, we would like to report on the operationalization of the new cities. The audit report noted that during the financial year 2019-2020, government made a pronouncement upgrading 10 municipal councils to city status, effective 1st July 2020. And this includes Arua, Mbarara, Gulu, Jinja, Fort Portal, Mbale, Masaka, Soroti, and Oima. Audit report noted the following. 1, government did not provide funding in the budgets of the newly created entities to enable them to operate as cities. They continue to operate using the budget of the municipal councils. 2, the cities lacked establishment structures against which the recruitment of the required human resources could be undertaken. And 3, there were no guidance on the allocation and sharing of assets. This has become a contentious matter between the councils of the newly created cities and the district entities from where the cities were created. Right, Honorable Speaker, we would like to report on capitation grant for printing. This is a matter that has been concluded, and we'll request members to read through, but we have also provided recommendations that for every money sent to district, there should be clear guidelines on how this money is supposed to be used, and the initial intended purpose should not be lost. Right, Honorable Speaker, we'll now take you to service delivery matters and projects under UGIFT. The audit report noted the following. 1, delayed disbursement and failure to absorb project funds. A sample of 36 projects failed to absorb funds availed to them for implementation activities, and as a result, a total of 431 billion and Uganda shilling, and US dollars 30.2 million remain on the project accounts. Right, Honorable Speaker, failure to absorb project funds was mainly attributed to the fact that disbursement of any project funds depends on the utilization and full accountability of prior disbursement, which was still a challenge for most projects. In addition, absorption of funds was affected by COVID-19. Failure to absorb project funds affects subsequent disbursement, which affects the implementation, and as a result, service delivery get affected. Right, Honorable Speaker, under that, we also have delayed procurement processes. Audit noted delays in completing the procurement processes. In some cases, the time taken between procurement initiation and contract signing were more than 5 months. Delays in procurement were majorly caused by numerous administrative reviews, inefficiencies within the PDUs and COVID-19, which resulted in entities operating at only 30%. Delayed procurements result in delayed commencement of work and loss of implementation time, ends affecting service delivery. The committee made observations, Right Honorable Speaker, and to be specific, we would like to report the following. The committee observed that these projects mainly related to UGIFT. There were cases where the district made full payment, and I would like to emphasize this. There are cases where districts made full payment ahead of project implementation, contrary to the provision of the laws. For instance, Mr. Right Honorable Speaker, in Kole District, the district expended 1,717,875,500 shilling for construction of Okwero Seed Secondary School, leaving only a balance of 94,974,500 shilling as retention money. Now, this was done when the project had not been fully executed. Right, Honorable Speaker, the committee recommends that the PPDA should review the all hybrid procurement modalities with a view of saving government from losing funds to contractors who lacked capacity. Right, Honorable Speaker, we would also like to report on long outstanding receivables, and for purposes of time, I will request that members look through. It's provided and you have them. We have also provided recommendations, and just to run through, recommendation 1, the revolving funds for future programs to be covered or guided by legal framework to provide for sanctions and detailed program management structures. 2, that the accounting officers should institute measures and mechanisms possible to recover outstanding balances, including developing clear recovery plans and accountability mechanisms. And 3, government should adhere to timeliness in the provision of grants to different programs to realign it with the reporting framework so as not to cause distortion in the financial reporting. Right, Honorable Speaker, we found out, Right, Honorable Speaker, that in most cases, releases are sent late, and so it affects the entire processes of reporting for local government. Right, Honorable Speaker, number 8 is under outstanding payables. We have provided details you can look through. There are also observations we have made as a committee, and the recommendations we have provided, and these recommendations, if taken, are very important in improving that particular aspect. Right, Honorable Speaker, we have also made details on non-quantifiable contingency liabilities, and for purposes of saving time, I request members to look through, and please permit me to take you directly to recommendations under that, which is on the next page. Recommendation number 1, the accounting officers should adhere to Auditor General's advice of seeking to engage the Attorney General for legal support. The local governments and the Attorney General's office should adequately budget for legal representations. And the Office of the Attorney General should carry out update staff recruitment to improve on the effectiveness of the legal representation at regional level. We are putting this, Right Honorable Speaker, because we found out so many legal cases, court cases at local government entities, and we have provided those details. Right Honorable Speaker, number 10 is on payment of administrative advances into staff personal bank accounts. We have also made observations. I'll request you to look through, and there are recommendations, and for purposes of clarity, let me read through. Number 1, the accounting officers in question should ensure full recovery of the unaccounted for funds within 3 months from the adoption of this report, or make good the losses. 2, Right Honorable Speaker, we recommend as a committee that PSST should hold accounting officers personally liable and reprimand them for contravening the provision of the financial and accounting regulations. And this is particularly where advances are sent to individual staff accounts, and they failed to account for. Right Honorable Speaker, under number 11.0 is award of VAT inclusive contracts to non-VAT registered persons. The audit report revealed that some local governments awarded several contracts and made payments amounting to them without proof of active VAT registration. And as a result, VAT was paid to non-registered companies or those deregistered due to non-compliance. The accounting officers gave their part of the story, and the committee made observations, and we have the following recommendation. Recommendation 1, the PSST should hold the accounting officers personally liable and reprimand them for contravening section 35(3)(e) and section 45(3)(d) of the local government PPDA regulations 2006. 2, the amounts in question be recovered or the accounting officers make good the loss within 3 months from the time of adoption of this report. Right Honorable Speaker, number 12 is on lack of land titles. Section 9 of the Local Government Financial and Accounting Regulations 2.7 requires the accounting officers to ensure safe custody of all assets of council. A review of the list of land pieces owned by some local government, various local government revealed that the district lands were not titled. We would like to give an example in Kumi district, Right Honorable Speaker. 58 pieces of land owned by the district local government lacked titles. We recommend, Right Honorable Speaker, that the accounting officers should expedite the titling processes for the affected lands that have been highlighted by the committee to avoid encroachment and loss of property. Right Honorable Speaker, we will Right Honorable Speaker, on number 13, implementation of Uganda Road funds, we have provided details and the committee has also provided observations and would like to recommend the following. The committee recommends that accounting officers should take up the matter with Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to ensure that the required funds to complete the projects are obtained. And this is coming from cases where resources were meant to be provided and the releases never came. So we are recommending that the accounting officers should take up the matter with the Minister of Finance. 2, the accounting officers should take up the matter with the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to ensure that the required funds to complete projects are also obtained. Right Honorable Speaker, just for purposes of clarity, in most of the local governments we went to, we realized that many local governments receive far less the amount meant to be provided for road works. And this is a challenge. Fortunately, not so long ago, the matter was raised here. And it is sad that local governments are failing to maintain their roads and the citizens are not getting the services they need. And this is a matter that needs to be taken very seriously. On recovery, Right Honorable Speaker, based on the interactions that we have made with committees, from the 60 district local government, the committee has since made a total recovery of Uganda shilling 37,864,984 shilling as indicated in appendix. This is different from what we previously reported. Right Honorable Speaker, in conclusion, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, for districts and municipalities that we have attached, and we have it in the report document in Annex 3, we would like to recommend that the observations and recommendations as contained in the cross-cutting issues be taken to cover all those district local government entities. Right Honorable Speaker, finally, I would like to very sincerely thank members of this committee for the dedication and the commitment they have demonstrated the period we have been engaged in these activities. And I also want to thank you for providing all the support to this committee for all the works we have so far done. With that, I want to wish you a prosperous 2023, and it's not late to say Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, honorable colleague. I think we are on the right course, because you see, when the Auditor General finishes doing his work as provided for under Article 163, Clause 4 of the Constitution, which is reporting to the House, then under that same Article, Clause 5, we are required to process and debate and take action on the report, which would then be also taken action upon under the PFMA. The minister is supposed to bring a treasury memoranda, which would handle as per Rule 221 of the Rules of Procedure. So this makes it our work much easier where we've reached. But I know these are accountability issues, but I was requested by the minister to give us a few highlights which would guide us in the debate, because accountability issues are to do with the accounting officers. They are to do with the CAOs, they are to do with the permanent secretaries. So the minister shouldn't be answering on their behalf. But there are issues which I felt after he had consulted me, which I felt are very, very important for us to know, so that they even guide us when we are processing the budget framework paper. So let me allow the minister to quickly, and he has uploaded his statement, quickly give a few highlights, and then we proceed on the matter.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Happy New Year to you, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues. I'd like to thank the committee for a good job done. I've looked through their report. It's quite heavy, but I've noticed that this report on 60 local governments actually does present a fair representation of what is happening in the rest of the local governments. So it will help us as government, it will help us as local governments to improve in terms of management and accountability of funds. So government will implement the recommendations of the report and give Parliament a feedback on actions taken at each entity as given in the report. Nonetheless, indeed it is true, Right Honorable Speaker, this report raises certain key policy issues with regard to financing of local governments and services at that level. So I've prepared a little statement, a little comment for information of Parliament, so that as we go to debate, we have some extra information on some of these issues. Just to highlight them, the issue of inadequate funding of local governments, a very critical matter. As you heard in the report, only 83% of the money appropriated is actually disbursed to the local governments. And indeed, the local governments are complaining they are not getting even 15% of the national budget. So we've made our proposal on what is possible for the way forward, in particular, the Local Government Finance Commission to guide, study this matter, present a proposal to government, and we shall bring it here. And also, they need to really protect local government budgets from media budget cuts. The issue of return of funds to the Treasury. You've heard that 229 billion shillings was returned to Treasury. This is a serious matter. It means people cannot get the services which were to be provided by the local governments, but the challenges are there. And I thank the chair and the committee. They have highlighted them quite well. The hybrid system of procurement, the late release of funds, and District Service Commission issues. We shall continue to reflect on this, and I've made my proposals in that statement on how we can debate as Parliament in terms of a good way forward. The cost of services in local government, I like the committee's analysis. Only 26% of the budget in local governments is for development expenditure. The rest goes to employee costs and other transfers to other units. Now, this is a serious matter as far as decentralization is concerned. So as stakeholders, we need to look at the position we've taken as government, putting a ban on creation of new administrative units so as to check multiplication of these structures, which increase operational costs at the expense of service delivery, and other measures which I will call on the members to bring up forward.
Procedure, Honorable Saro Pendi, procedure.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Magezi can take your seat.
Right Honorable Speaker, I have keenly listened to what the minister is saying. And what he's actually talking about is responding to the report, which you said is not for debate. So would it not be procedural right, Honorable Speaker, that the minister waits for us to debate and then he can respond at the end with a wider view next Tuesday?
Yeah.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Yeah, thank you. I really debated this issue in my mind. But when I read through what the minister was giving, I felt this information can help you in the debate, can guide you in the debate. Now, information aimed at guiding, colleagues, information aimed at guiding, you can either use it for guidance or you can dismiss it. Okay? So to me, it will depend on how you receive the information at an individual level and how it will guide you to form your presentation in as far as the debate is concerned. So when our minister conclude, you can see some members are saying you're not helping them. So you better move quickly.
Right Honorable Speaker, when the members read my information paper, you'll find that it is quite helpful. But let me just conclude by saying the issues of local revenue performance, the issues of payroll management, the issues of court cases against local governments, the issues of titling of district lands, the issues of paying administrative advances into staff personal bank accounts. There is some information for you. Where are we with operationalization of the new cities? I've given you that information. Look at it so that as we debate, we also look at this issue of road maintenance. We all have challenges of road maintenance, and the problem is really inadequate funding for the road sector at the local government level. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues. We shall certainly, as government, once the report is approved, we shall implement the recommendations of the report, and we shall present a memorandum to the Parliament. I thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Colleagues, like I said, the debate is deferred for 2 weeks. Read through the report, take your time. It's a report and for which we should give a thorough time for debate. I want to give you more time, not 2 minutes, not so go and research. Honorable Kawanda, you can only seek clarification if there is any member on the floor. So no, that's not allowed under our rules, unfortunately. So honorable colleagues, yes, the procedure, honorable.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the Climate Change Act that was passed last year in August.
Colleagues, can we have order in the House?
Yeah. Right Honorable Speaker, the Climate Change Act that was passed last year in August amended the Public Finance Management Act to compel the minister to avail us with a certificate certifying that the budget framework paper is climate change responsive. But on 23rd, when we received the budget framework paper, we only received the gender certificate and not the climate certifying paper. So the procedural matter I'm raising here is to request you, our Right Honorable Speaker, to guide us on the way forward of how the minister, in consultation with the National Planning Authority, should avail us with this certificate. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, Finance, would you want to comment?
Right Honorable Speaker, let me thank the honorable member for raising this matter. During the presentation of the BFP or the laying of the BFP on table in Parliament, we focused on the PFM as has been. And therefore, we complied with the requirements as we have been traditionally doing. So there was an oversight, this being a new law, an oversight on the issue of climate. It's quite clear in the report in the BFP that climate issues have been heavily addressed. In fact, when you look at the priorities, issues relating to climate change are number one on the agenda.
No, Honorable, that's not what the law requires you to do.
Right when I was speaking,
very clear. You're going in
right when I was speaking,
uncharted territory.
I'm now, we are undertaking to lay on table the certificate as required under the Climate Act on Tuesday next week.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, and thank you, Honorable. Yes, Rob. Colleagues, our Muslim brothers.
Thank
we are
you. I
entering
just
into their
need a minute,
time
right,
to
Honourable
discuss.
Speaker. I want to thank the Honourable, the Shadow Minister for Environment here, raising the matter. I think there was an oversight when the Climate Act was being considered because it never cross-referenced the PFMA. And we know you don't cross-reference, you cannot amend the PFMA by necessary implication. The minister needs to move and we cause an immediate amendment to the PFMA. What we are dealing with now is a conflict of laws. I don't know whether the minister is alive to these issues, and we need to move very fast. There's no cross-referencing the act to the PFMA, and therefore it needs a direct amendment. Otherwise, what we are dealing with is vagueness. Right, Honourable Speaker. So the minister needs to move, or we shall move him and the House to cause the amendment.
Thank you. The very good thing is, in conflict of laws, the subject which I think all of us did in law school, the moment you have a conflict of laws, and they are all statics, very clear statics, the one which came last, has to be takes precedent because they are all in equal measure. It's only the Constitution which, but what is saying that it needs to be explicitly stated, but as of now, you must comply. You must comply. That's what the law clearly says. So, and I'm glad, Honourable Minister, you've admitted that it was an oversight. It was an oversight on all of us. And I want to appreciate the Honourable colleague from Kiboga for raising this matter. When she consulted me, I said, I'll give you space to raise it so that the minister can take the necessary action. Colleagues, you know we are considering the budget. Honourable Kawanda, you had an issue. Is it a procedural matter? Because if it's clarification, it's not provided for.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. When we are here, we come here to guide the country, Right Honourable Speaker. The chairperson for local government, I heard him say that the local governments seek legal advice from the Attorney General. Is it procedurally right? And is it true that these local governments are supposed to seek clarification, legal advice from the Attorney General? Because according to my understanding, the local governments seek legal advice from the Solicitor General.
Thank you. Honourable colleague, the office of the Solicitor General is under the Attorney General. To make it very simple. But number two, we are discussing and debating, and yet I've deferred the debate and discussion. Yeah, but it is very important for a colleague to get the clarification on such a matters. Colleagues, as you know, we are handling the budget framework paper, and of course, the timelines are very clear. Rule 145, sub-rule 12, rules of procedure, requires sectoral committees to have presented to the budget committee by 20th. So, Chairman, Budget Committee, I hope the sectoral committees have started or are about to start reporting So by 20th, all sector committees should have reported. Then under the same rule 145 sub rule 3, we are required as a house to have finished processing the budget paper by 1st of February. Now, I have seen at many times when I was in this house, when we are stampeding and, emergency, and we end up not debating these very important documents. So I want the budget committee, I hereby direct the budget committee to process and finish their report by 25th of February, so that we have an extensive of January, so that we have an extensive debate on the budget framework paper, which are, even if it means having 5 sittings before 1st of February, but we want members to have a detailed debate in the budget framework paper, where I'm not limiting you by 2 minutes, by 3 minutes, but by the research you would have made as colleagues. So budget committee chair, please ensure that indeed you raise this. Honorable Saropendi, you had the procedure, ma'am?
Yeah, thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, it is very unfortunate that we continue to lose people on the roads, on our roads. And you did ask the ministers of internal affairs, works, to prepare to come and give a statement over the matter to this house. However, Right Honorable Speaker, you will note 2 days ago, I was watching TV and one of the doctors was on TV talking about the challenge of blood. But before we broke off, there was also, I wanted to raise this matter as a matter of national importance, because the Uganda Blood Transfusion Service, due to lack of funding, cannot process blood that has actually collected. And we've seen children, Right Honorable Speaker, dying in hospitals because of lack of blood. And now with the road accidents, blood is critical in healthcare, in the clinical care. So Right Honorable Speaker, would it not be right that the Minister of Health also be asked to come and give us a report on the Uganda Blood Transfusion Service, and whether they have the necessary funds for them to get the reagents to process the blood for clinical care? Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, colleagues. These are issues which have a budget implication. And since we are in the budgeting process, these are issues we should allow time to be highlighted so that the minister, no information is for a member on the floor, and unfortunately we don't have anyone on the floor. And also clarification is for a member on the floor, especially the minister. So unfortunately, colleagues, I'm applying your rules. These are rules of the house, they are not mine. Yeah, so Honorable Saropendi, you are right. The Minister of Health should come and give us a statement on Uganda's readiness with blood transfusion services across the country. Honorable Najuma, you had the procedure matter?
Thank you, Right. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, in the previous sitting where the Minister of Finance laid the BFP, he assured this August House that he's going to clear salary for civil servants for the month of December. But up to now in Nakaske, there are civil servants who are not yet paid for the month of December. Allow me to talk, it's my time. Then, Honorable Minister of Finance.
You're protected, please.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Yeah.
Up to now, they are not paid their December salary, especially the scientists. Honorable Speaker, most of these civil servants have salary loans and they are being given fines in the banking institutions. So I need clarification from the Minister of Finance, since he's around, on the same matter. Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Now, honorable colleagues, usually when we do a session, I usually go back in order to revise my performance. I read through the Hansard. Sometimes our Hansard is very cluttered. Reason being, like I warned on several times, on several occasions, you bring side talk onto the Hansard. You know, people are just talking to you and you respond. And then someone says, but where was this coming from? So I request any person who has no access to a microphone is not recorded on the Hansard. So don't respond to them. You can seek protection of the speaker, then I prevail and we protect you and you submit. But don't respond to a person, to a honorable colleague who is trying to get you off track, okay? So Honorable Minister of Finance, please, you've had the Honorable Najuma.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, whereas we released all the wage component for the quarter we just closed, we continue getting complaints and factual complaints, by the way, that some of our civil servants still go unpaid. I want to propose, Right Honorable Speaker, that you allow us to do an investigation to find out what is going on, why people continue, remain unpaid, when from our side, we have really released all the wage for the period.
Honorable Kaberuka.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, you've made it clear that budgeting process is so critical in this country. And indeed, it is the one that translates our vision and mission into action. Right Honorable Speaker, the Minister for General Duties of Finance is saying that they have loaded all the money. I don't know whether he's speaking to as a Minister of Finance or as a Ugandan who comes from Rwanda as a district, whether his district has already received all the money. Mr. Speaker, budgeting process is a very critical indeed. And Mr. Speaker, we have on Thursday, we are supposed to meet Minister of Finance. There was no show at the time of meeting them. They have to make sure they delay you and you don't hit the target. But also, after you have appropriated, they don't respect the budget that this parliament has appropriated. Now, they have turned themselves into a parliament and they want to do their own things. That's why they have to make sure they delay you. They come here and give just statements like they have loaded money for science teachers and everything, which is not true. Mr. Speaker, I would seek your guidance. Would you please help this parliament? Because our major cardinal role as parliament is appropriation, which is the preserve of the parliament. When Honorable Musas and his colleagues take the parliament power, it is absolutely incorrect. So would we kindly, Mr. Speaker, have the finance also termed, align themselves towards the constitution and respect this parliament, that it is one of the arms of the government that should be allowed to do their work.
Thank you. Honorable Minister for Finance with General Duties, since you are referred to, would you want to
Mr. Speaker,
respond?
when we are speaking here in this house, the whole country is listening. Whatever decisions we have made, I have not made any decision as Mr. This is Minister of Finance. This is the Minister of Finance. I wanted this to be really clarified so that people out there do not think that I am the one denying them.
Honorable Mr. I just wanted you to respond to only one point because.
But the point.
Honorable Mr. the Speaker is speaking. So, Honorable Msasi, the one of refusing to appear, because I have received 3 MPs telling me that they waited for the Minister of Finance to appear before the committee and they've not. Then the other issues, we are expecting a report from the budget committee on the performance of the budget. Then we shall have a wide debate on whether you've taken over our powers or not. Those are issues we shall handle. But for now, the one of appearance, we need.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, it is true we were scheduled to appear before the Budget Committee yesterday morning at 10 a.m. However, Right Honorable Speaker, because of unavoidable circumstances, we requested the chairperson and the leadership of the committee to allow us to appear on Monday at 9 a.m., which the chairperson agreed with. And I wish the chairperson of the budget committee was here. He would really agree with me on this.
Thank you. House had John the sign die.